Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Bald Metal Nerd coming at you with another video. I think this video I'm gonna call High Res Audio Revisited and Audiophoolery. Um, now, this is a good follow up to the last video I just did because I just did a three-way headphone roundup, and the headphone roundup, I finally got what's considered by many to be one of the holy grails of headphones, and that is the Audio Technica ATH M50X. I also have the Audio Engine D1 DAC slash headphone amp. So I finally have uh, hardware that is fully capable of, being HD audio ready or whatever. So I decided I'd give HD audio another shake just to be fair. So I went ahead and downloaded a bunch of free HD audio tracks from around the internet. If you just do an internet search for it, you can find tons of places to get HD audio tracks for free. So I listened to them, and I downloaded the standard res CD res one too. And I think what I experienced was a bit of a placebo effect because when I knew that I was listening to the high res audio version, I thought to myself, maybe it sounds a little bit better. I thought the differences were subtle, but I was like, ooh, high res audio is better, blah, blah, blah. But once I started doing the blind testing with FooBar and the ABX, the difference is poof, gone, right? It went away. So I also tried it with 320 kilobits per second MP3s. Again, I could not tell a difference. And the only time I could actually tell a difference is when I did a conversion down to 128K MP3. And even then, the differences were subtle. Because even now, nowadays, the encoders are so good compared to what they used to be. Even 128K MP3 sounds pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's like maybe 95% as good as a regular FLAC. It's subtle differences. It's subtle. It's not extremely, jarring to listen to 128K MP3 versus the FLAC file. So basically, my takeaway on this, guys, is don't spend your money on, your favorite songs in bigger file buckets. It's a waste of money. If you want to, you know, if you're buying some music for the first time and you want high res audio, maybe it'll have some benefit to you, maybe, but I gotta tell you, I strained to listen to it and I couldn't hear it. And again, this was with new equipment, yeah. And that brings me to the next part of my audiofoolery, talk here, and that is cables. A lot of people are big believers in cables. Now, I actually have a few different types of cable running into my receiver. Some of it is monster cable, which is, supposedly really good. I also have I have another brand that's well regarded. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. And I also have some monoprice cables running into my AV receiver. And here's what I have to tell you about the cables. And this is, hooked up to basically the same sources. This is why I can say this. The different grades of cable make no difference in the sound whatsoever. I think as long as a cable is competently manufactured and at least of a decent quality, you're not going to get a whole bunch of sonic improvement from your cables. I guess maybe it's technically possible in some applications, but for the most part, one cable is going to sound identical to the next cable. Very rarely are you going to notice a big difference. I think it's only worth spending a lot of money on cables for a few reasons. And not even a lot, because there are some cables out there that cost $15,000. If you spend that much on a cable, you're a fucking moron, in my opinion. Again, my opinion. It might be worth it to you to spend 40 or 50 bucks on a cable if you need something that's super durable, that you're going to be unplugging and replugging in a lot, or you just want something that looks really stylish and cool or whatever. Maybe it's worth dropping a lot of, a decent amount of money on a cable. But if not, if you're, like 99.99% of the population, and you're going to hook your cables up to your system, and then the cables are just going to sit there for years until you eventually change components out, do yourself a favor. Buy inexpensive but decent cables. Do your research before you buy them. Make sure you're buying decent cables. But you don't have to spend a lot of money on it. It's idiotic to spend a lot of money on a cable. Enough of that. Next thing that I want to talk about. The way to really improve your sound is, well, buying better hardware, but only up to a certain point. Now, I recently did a review of the Audio Engine D1, and that yielded, in my opinion, for 170 bucks, that yielded maybe a 10% improvement in the sound of my music. And let me tell you something. For 10% improvement across the board, $170 is definitely worth it. No complaints whatsoever. Because it definitely is, it's just a better sound, and it's wonderful, right? It's not subtle. I could definitely tell a difference between it and, the other options. I'll put a link to that review. And again, the other hardware, but would I spend, say, $20,000 on a DAC? Because some of them are that expensive. No, that's insane. Even if you can't afford it, I think that's insane. And the reason for that is the Audio Engine D1 will get you 98% of the way that a $20,000 DAC will get you, right? Yes, the $20,000 DAC can probably potentially, maybe it does sound better, but I've read reviews where people have put the inexpensive, well, not inexpensive, but the much cheaper, because 170 is still a decent amount of money. They put the much less expensive things up against, the uber high end, and the quote cheap solution does fairly well. Compared to it. Same thing with these Audio-Technica ATH M50X headphones. I've, done some research on those, and yes, there are better sounding headphones out there, for many hundreds of dollars more. But from what I understand, they're not a whole lot better than those. So basically, my general advice for buying audio equipment, if you have junky equipment and you're like, I want something that sounds better, what I recommend doing is do your research and find out basically what is the absolute best sounding affordable gear in your budget, right? And buy it, and trust me, you will be happy with the sound. And keep in mind, even if you had $1 million to spend on equipment and cables and stuff, yeah, the sound, definitely the $1 million system is going to sound better, but is it going to sound $1 million better? Probably not. Now, I'm not going to lie, I've never heard $1 million system. But I can tell you that even if the grades that I've heard, because the cheapest decent system I've ever heard probably is about 200 bucks, right? And the most expensive system that I have is probably about, $1,200, right? So that's a 6-time increase over the $200 system. Does the $1,200 system sound 6 times better than the $200 system? No. It definitely sounds better. Don't get me wrong. Yes, it sounds better. But is it 6 times better? No, it's not. And it's maybe, I don't know, how much of a gulf is there? Maybe it's 20% better. And then once you get above that, you start to really kick into diminishing returns. If you have the budget to go overboard on that stuff, more power to you. But that's pretty much it. I know this was kind of rambling, but I just thought it was a worthwhile topic to bring up. Let me get guys in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want? How do you spend your money to get good audio? That's really what this is all about. If you did enjoy watching, please thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.